Hi, Zach. This is Dave from Dave's Gone By. How you doing? I am great. I'm going to put you on the show right now. Zachary Stewart, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. Hey, how are you? Let me just give you an intro here. He is the chief critic and features reporter at TheaterMania.com. So pretty major fella. He's also a Tony voter. And he's also a playwright and director. His plays have been done at the Players Theater, the Connolly Theater, and the 45th Street Theater. He comes from my alma mater. He's got a BFA from NYU. So welcome to Zachary Stewart. How you doing?
I'm quite well. It's so good to hear from you this morning, Dave.
You too. You too. So how did you feel about the Broadway season overall?
I think it was a very strong season. You know, we spoke last year, and among the plays, there were very few new ones. On Broadway last year, there was the big gorilla in the room was, of course, Harry Potter, which I don't think anybody would argue was a brilliant work of drama, but it was a fun play. It was a really decent play.
Mm-hmm.
The Drama Desk last year nominated no Broadway play in its Best Play category.
Wow.
But what a difference a year makes. We have 13 new plays on the Broadway season this year. So only 5 of them, of course, meant the cut for the Best Play category.
Well, let me read the nominees out, and then we can also talk about maybe one or two that you feel should have been nominated but weren't. But the ones that were for Best Play of the Year on Broadway, those include Terrell Alvin McCraney's Choir Boy, Jez Butterworth's The Ferryman, Gary, a sequel to Titus Andronicus by Taylor Mack, Ink by James Graham, and Heidi Schreck's What the Constitution Means to Me. So those are the nominees. Your thoughts about them first?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is really a contest between 2 of these 5. I'll go through the 5. I'm sure you've already spoken about a few of them on the show.
Sure.
Choir Boy by Terrell Alvin McCraney. McCraney is the Academy Award-winning screenwriter of Moonlight. He actually wrote this play before that, and it premiered off-Broadway at Manhattan Theater Club. It's back on Broadway with Manhattan Theater Club again, or at least it was earlier this season. It's about a young gay black man in an elite boarding school who wants to be the head of the choir there, and all the kind of trouble he gets in that pursuit. The Ferryman is a massive drama by Jez Butterworth about an Irish family in Northern Ireland. I think you compared it to The Godfather 3 earlier on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, because he gets pulled back in when he feels like he's out, you know.
Yeah, right. It's these people that come around, local politicians or thugs, that promise you things and they're going to help your family, but it always comes with a cost of it. So, an incredible drama. It is now running on its second cast. It's been around almost the entire year. Gary is indeed somewhat of a sequel to Titus Andronicus by Taylor Mack, who is a MacArthur genius. It is certainly the strangest thing running on Broadway right now. It's kind of cool to see it there. It's Nathan Lane is playing a clown who is promoted to the cleaning crew to clean up the bodies at the end of Titus Andronicus. He really wants to be a fool, which he describes as a clown with ambition. And so that's that play. Ink is about Rupert Murdoch, that noir of the liberal establishment showing up on the island of Great Britain and buying a tabloid newspaper and turning it into the biggest newspaper in that country. I would describe this play as every sports movie you've ever seen, every cliched sports film you've ever seen, you know, where down on his luck coach puts together a ragtag team of misfits and they come from behind to win the championship. And then the second half is Macbeth. It's that ambition catching up with Larry Lamb, who was the editor-in-chief of the Sun newspaper in Great Britain. And then What the Constitution Means to Me by Heidi Schreck. It is her recreating, in a way, the speeches that she would give at American Legion Hall when she was a teenager. And she gave these speeches as part of oratory contests. And the prize money that she won actually paid for her college education. So she's going back and revisiting those speeches, but perhaps with a little more wisdom as a woman who has lived several decades as an adult in America. And she talks about how the inequalities between men and women were actually there from the beginning in the Constitution. And that equal protection under the law in the 14th Amendment has often not actually applied to women. And so people get really engaged in this. He ends the play with a debate with a young woman of color where they're essentially debating, should the Constitution be abolished and rewritten? And people get really, really invested in that. It's kind of exciting to see people engaging civically like that in a live theater venue. So when it comes to this category, the big competition is between the Ferryman and what the Constitution means to me. And I think the Ferryman has the edge.
You think it will win? Is that your preference? You seem partial, though, to Constitution, or which?
Oh, how did you know? Yes, I actually do think I'm going to vote for Constitution, simply because I love that it really is so much smaller, and but I love that it really pushes the idea of what a play can be. You know, when you look at it, it really doesn't look like any sort of play that you've ever seen. You know, it is the author up there speaking directly to you in a very earnest way, and there's an element, it is actually highly scripted, but there's an element of it that feels unscripted, like we're just meeting in a room to talk about the Constitution. And I just love that it's on Broadway and that people are responding to it so well. I do think The Ferryman has the edge simply because it looks more like a traditional play, and within the parameters of that, it is really impressive what they're doing. I mean, we never see plays like this on Broadway. It has 21 actors. And that includes an army of children that are constantly rotating. They have an infant on stage. Apparently, the logistics behind making that work are quite impressive. There's live animals. It's a farm. You know, this is supposed to be a farm in Northern Ireland that they're putting on stage. And you really see this space teeming with life. And the fact that the producers have been able to put that together, I think, is a huge achievement. And if it wins the Tony for Best Play, we'll see more risks being taken like that in a time when plays are tended to get smaller and shorter. Ferryman is over 3 hours long. It's just exciting to see a play like that on Broadway now.
Now, can I ask, we're talking to Zachary Stewart, by the way, of Theatermania. Those are the nominees for the Best Play category. If there was another slot available?
Well, of the Broadway season, I would say it's hard to say. I actually think the right plays got in here this year. I don't know if I would have included anything else. Maybe Lifespan of a Fact, which is another kind of form-pushing play. At least it considers the role of fake news and the truth and what is facts and who gets to determine what counts as a fact and what doesn't. This is Daniel Radcliffe and Bobby Cannavale, Cherry Jones earlier in the season. I thought that was quite good, but you know, it's closed now, and so none of the road voters, who are the people that come in this time of year to vote, they're the swing voters of the Tony constituency. Think of them as like Ohio voters. None of them would have gotten to come see it this time of year, so I'm not sure it would have even been worthwhile to have it nominated. If I could choose from the entire breadth of New York theater, not just Broadway, I would probably have included this year's Pulitzer winner, Fairview, in that list, which is a pretty incredible play that's coming back to Brooklyn at Theater for a New Audience this summer. And this is a play that starts off as a kind of fairly standard domestic drama, and then layers are added until it kind of spins into something completely different. It's a pretty extraordinary play as well. And maybe we'll see it on Broadway in future seasons. I mean, now that we have shows like Constitution and Gary on Broadway, I don't see why not.
Can I ask, what are you most excited about, aside from them bringing back Fairview for people to see it at the Polanski Center in Brooklyn, but what excites you about the season coming up?
Oh, geez.
I didn't think to ask, but I'm asking it now.
Coming up, well, you know, what I have to think about is it seems like Laurie Metcalf has a residency on Broadway, and so she's going to be coming back this time next year to be in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which I think is a play that is always excellent, and it's particularly excellent with great actors, and I can't wait to see her see Martha, see her play Martha on the Broadway stage. She may not win a Tony this year for playing Hillary Clinton, but even without knowing her competition, next year in the category, I'm sure she'll be nominated, and she would definitely be the one to be in that role.
Well, it would be hard to beat this man, Zachary Stewart, for contributing his knowledge, his joy of the theater to our broadcast. So we can read, obviously, all your reviews in theatermania.com. You are the chief theater critic for, and features reporter as well, for theatermania.com, and have been for how long?
Oh, well, I've been chief critic since 2013, so it's been about 6 years, but I've been working at Theatermania for about 13 now.
Wow, congratulations. Are you readable anywhere else or in any podcasts, or is everything Theatermania?
No, I'm pretty exclusively there right now. I write about 150 reviews every year. You can see them all for free. You don't need a subscription at theatermania.com.
Theatermania.com is the place. And thank you so much, Zach Stewart, for joining us in the neighborhood on the Tony Show.
Thank you, Dave. It was really a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
Likewise. Bye-bye now. Thank you.